Hey everybody, this is iLad and we're back for another episode of Starmade. Yeah. And today we are going to be adding an offensive capability, or we're going to call it a defensive capability, to our holographic mining ship. Now, before we get started, I do want to show you to possibly no one's surprise, I have already redesigned two parts of our grappler. So I redesigned the little turret base here, and then I drastically redesigned the actual barrel, the turret head. And I did this because the old design was just too scorpion-like for my taste. It didn't really have an industrial look to it. It had a dangerous look to it, and that was not what I was going after. So I redid it. I feel like it looks a lot more industrial now, which is always the plan. That was the intent from the get-go. There's a little bit here that I should have closed up and forgot to. Hang on just a second. There's a couple things I'm not crazy about in this design. The thinness of this little arm right here being part of that, but it's that way because it desperately needs mobility, and the more bulk added in there, the less it's able to actually turn and point in front of the ship. So, sacrifices were made, but here we are. This is the view from the actual flight mode. Whoa. Oh, that'll never do. Wow, I guess I hadn't actually checked the flight mode view since I swapped out the little 1/4 slabs for these babies. It's not going to fly. Hang on. Okay, cool. So that should do it. So now it's still got the look I wanted, and it doesn't interfere with my view because I added the camera. So we're gonna roll with that. We're not gonna tweak this anymore, ever, for any reason, right? Anyway, on to the actual project for the day, and that is, like I said, going to be adding some weaponry. Namely, just like on my original salvager over here, I had, or not my original, but my previous one, I had a fairly sizable cannon. There's like, what is it? It's around 400, more or less, 400 modules going into this. I'm going to build a similarly sized cannon. I might go up to 500 or 600, but we'll see. Once again, just for hopefully taking out space stations, because really that's the main goal I have for the immediate neighborhood here, is just knocking out pirate stations. So we're going to mount the big honking space gun on this side. It's going to run down the length, stopping short of the hangar doors. This one reason why I'm not 100% sure how big I'm actually going to make it is because I'm not really sure how much I can fit in the space without getting it sort of disproportionate looking. But we'll find out. We'll see. Alright, so what you just saw there was me really thinking through several iterations of the placement and the shape this is kind of what I ended up with. Instead of having it straight out to the side and just straight up and down, I decided to kind of have it low slung and sort of at a weird angle like that. Yeah. Looking at the size, I feel like this is roughly the proportion that I want it. Yeah, I feel like this is a pretty decent proportion as far as like the width and everything. I'm gonna hopefully get a fatter and less penetrating projectile out of this, but I don't really, it's figuring that out is not really my strong suit. Let me go ahead and mark which one will be the actual emitter. It's that one. And yeah, once I kind of adjusted it, trimmed it back, and got it in the neighborhood I wanted, which was not much larger than 600 blocks, I ended up with 608 individual modules. 608 feels like such a decent number, for whatever reason. It's a number that's kind of, I feel like it's a good number. Yeah. So that's where we are. Now it's time to skin this sucker and make it actually look decent. Go ahead and bring this forward a little bit. I don't think this rim is actually going to stay right here. I feel like it's going to have to move back some. But we'll see what I come up with. Alright, there it is. Yeah, it's such a simple shape, admittedly, and yet it took me forever to get this far. That's just because I wasn't sure what would work on the front face of it, and I kept kind of tweaking the decoration of it, and yeah, it's one of those simple things that ends up being very complicated when you come into it without a really solid plan of how to do it, which is what happened here. But in the end, I'm proud of it. I think it works just fine. I think the heat dissipation system in the back I think it works alright. I kind of like that this does actually look different from most of the other stuff on the ship. Like, it doesn't have the super industrial look that this does, because it is in fact a weapon. But there's still some motifs from the ship carrying through with these ports, and then the sort of serrated bracing. It still ends up looking like it belongs on the ship. Last but not least, I do want to point out that when I skin the ship, some of this bracing here is going to get ripped out, and that is perfectly acceptable. There's absolutely no reason why you would expect me to keep all this the same way when obviously this is more of an interior surface on the ship rather than the exterior skin. So yeah, I know that's going to get ripped out, but I wanted to go ahead and complete the loop as much as possible. But yeah, that's about it. We've got our 608 blocks of cannon barrel ready to tear apart some pirate stations a few blocks at a time. Not a super powerful weapon, but I think it will be good. Hey, let's see. What do we have left on the ship? We got shield generators. Those are going to be sort of packed in along here. And I may possibly... scratch that. I was about to say I might find room for some more over here. Probably won't, though. Of course, it's a 2-block system, so maybe I'll put some of the blocks on one side and the other blocks on the other. I don't know. We'll see. I've got to put in the actual power system because I have no power yet. Got to put in thrusters. We've got to at least roughly sort of shape in the hangar. And of course, like I say, I've got to skin the whole thing. So we've got our work cut out for us. We've still got several episodes left. I hope you are enjoying watching this bit by bit build, and hope you'll consider hitting the subscribe button if you haven't already, and coming back to see us for more in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And y'all take care. Bye-bye.